Hello to all my viewers out there. You are now tuned in to Master of My Own Fate TV, where the prerogative of this channel is to help the respective athlete, parent, or coach become the best version of themselves, even a regular citizen, because we are always instilling in traits, virtues, and principles that are going to help us build a foundation and soar into the sky and climb any ladder, right? It translates across the board. And it is that time of the year. The season is winding down for many, Of course, we got the NFL, and we got college football, the playoffs and the championships. Other than that, everybody pretty much wrapped up, and it is an important time to point awareness to a few things, right? Take time to heal and lick your wounds, right? Before you can progress to training to prepare for the next year, got to make sure your body all right, So I would advise to take 2 weeks to a month to rehabilitate yourself. If you got pains and, ligaments stretched, or other types of injuries, nurture those. Because if you go into the next season beat up, you feel me, and not 100, your chances of a high output are going to be lower, to say the least, right? That brings me to my next point. Check your stats, see where you at, see where you rank among the rest, right? The easiest way to make it to where you're trying to make it is to separate yourself. And to do that, you're going to have to practice what they call data analytics. You're going to have to look at your stats and see where they rank among the best of your position, across the nation. Not just, I guess you could start at in your conference, right? You can start in your conference, then you can climb up to your division. Example, I played in the MAC in college, so I can start with the MAC. I was defensive end, look for TFLs and sacks, right? Forced fumbles, right? You look who had the most, and then you evaluate yourself, compare, right? And then you can take it a step further and study that person. You can take it a step further and then look at other conferences and replicate that model, right? And from there, you then start to set goals so that you can say you didn't get any no type of award or notoriety this year. All right, cool. Now you got something to shoot for. Okay, this guy got this, that guy got that. Okay, let me see what their stats was. Okay, they had this many sacks, or this many TFLs, or this many forced fumbles, or this many touchdowns, or this many yards per catch, and etc. Hey, it's endless, right? But you have to have something to stimulate your vision, right? Because your actions only align with your vision and what you perpetuate in your own mind. That's how I was able to, accomplish a lot of goals when someone outside of myself was making me aware of what I could be. And then I started to shoot higher as a Sagittarius. Aim for the stars and hit the moon. And even though you might not have hit your mark, you made it out this world. I love that saying, right? So boom, you gotta do that, and you, again, if you want to go far, the further your team goes in the playoffs, the more championships you attend, the more bowl games you attend, the more awareness you have, not only to your team, but you as well, right? They are all opportunity. So it will behoove you to get your teammates on board, right? What does that mean? You have them replicate the same model that I had. You help them goal set, be proactive, right? Don't just worry about yourself, right? If you are not the only person training, and trying to better yourself and achieve goals, is going to create more team chemistry, right? And as a unit, a football team, you really move as one. You really do. And when you start to compartmentalize all the different aspects and be like, oh, this is his duty and that is his duty, instead of being like, okay, how can I help them become better? How can I help this group become better, right? That's the difference between a leader and someone that's just, out for self, and where there's times where you kind of gotta be, but that's why you gotta be interchangeable. You can't be just stuck in a box. You gotta be fluid. Like Bruce Lee said, you gotta move like water. You feel me? After you identify the areas that you lack, you can then start to identify how you can become better. What can you implement to become better? And as an overall athlete, identifying personal records, PRs, and then surpassing them will help you become physically better and show you how to mentally break your barriers so you can continuously ascend and progress, right? If you bench 250, I know that's on the low side, but say, okay, boom, this spring training, I'm going to hit 300, right? You want to pursue obtainable goals. If it's so far outlandish, you can become discouraged before you even start, right? Do something that's manageable and increase in increments over time. So say I want to increase 50 pounds in 3 months, or 25 pounds in 3 months, or 50 in 6 months, right? You run a 5 flat now, say I want to run a 4.9 in X amount of months, right? You replicate that model across the board. It's all kind of agility drills, strength training drills, a mix of the sort that you could use to attach a metric to your movements. That's a result of increase, a result of proficiency, a result of excelling. And then, like I always say, iron sharpens iron. Compete. Find somebody, whether it's a teammate, right? You can search your community, because everybody go home for winter break and all that, spring break, summer break. Find people in your community you can compete with, man. People in your conference. You feel me? People across conferences. We live in the age of social media, man, so you can get it together easy. The power is in your hands. It's about how bad you want it. Are you gonna party Are you gonna party during spring break? Are you gonna party during summer break? While those who have no other choice, this is the way they see them being able to feed their family and their lineage down the future, they gonna be training. Every break I was training, I was getting it in. I was sweating. The heat was scorching. You feel me? I've trained in 120 degree weather. You feel me? No exaggeration. Arizona. You did, because I wanted to become great, right? You put yourself in circumstances where you suffer so that when game time comes, it's going to be a blissful experience. You're going to get to make plays and, hype the crowd up and feed off that energy, baby. You can only do that when you're performing, man, when you're separating yourself on the field when the lights are on. And to be in a position to do that, you gotta be at an even greater intensity when the lights aren't on, because you only gonna replicate what you've practiced. Why? Because we are human beings, and that is human nature, truly. Lastly, I would say watch film and study superior players. It can be, like I said, people that have excelled on your team, people who have excelled in your conference that got notoriety and awards, right? It can be people across conferences. It can be people on higher levels than you. If you're in middle school, look at people that's in high school balling out. If you're in high school, look at people that's in college balling out. If you're in college, look at people in the league balling out. If you're in the league, look at the best that the league has to offer, you know? And then you start to form your goals. Who you want to surpass, you know? Who you gonna line up in your sights, right? Those are traits of the great. Those are traits of people who refuse to settle for less. And again, there are people that believe that this is going to be the way they feed their family. So if you out there just, pussyfooting, you feel me, being lackadaisical, while everybody else really giving 1,000%, then you really just don't want it. And this video probably not for you. But if you're one of them people that want to, at the very least, get a free scholarship and not putting that burden on your parents, you feel me? When they can be further established in their life so that, they can hit retirement age earlier, you feel me? Why not be selfless and project selfless acts that help make that a reality? That's the best. That might be the best gift you can give a parent next to a child, a grandbaby. You feel me? Free schooling, and you setting your own self up for success. That's hitting like 3 birds in one stone. You feel me? Instead of getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to get an education and degree. You feel me? So line whoever is the top dog in your realm of things, line them up in your sights, man, and go for the gusto. Try to surpass them. What would they say? Make your idols become your rivals. Yeah, rose. But other than that, we are winding down. Assess the output that you put out this past year. See how you can improve and become better and more efficient. How you can become a better leader. How you can project your influence so things go more in your way, right? And trust me, the eye in the sky don't lie. When you do things like that, people begin to watch. And being a leader is a trait you can't necessarily, I ain't gonna say you could teach it, because you could teach it pretty much anything. But the best leaders come from experience where suffering is induced, right? Or they were able to watch other leaders, and were inspired by them, in which they saw the traits that was needed to sustain, that type of frequency, of a leader, as a button pusher, right? But yeah, so prepare, heal up, assess the situation, establish goals, and train like a mug, man. This is the off season. The season gonna be back around before you know it, right? And everybody got choices, so try to make the right ones that's gonna help the progression and sustainability of your body throughout the season, instead of the deterioration. Mainly drinking and not getting enough rest, and not eating right. Those can be the main impediments. But go for it and be great, and continue to be the master of your own fate. Bullets outie.